On March 30th, 2026, the Chicago Bulls waived Jaden Ivey for conduct detrimental to the team. And across the basketball world, a conversation about who controls the game and who gets to speak cracked wide open. At the same time, LeBron James and his longtime business partner Maverick Carter have been laying the groundwork for a $5 billion international basketball league called Project B, one designed to lure players away from the NBA with something the league has never offered: equity. So let's get into how Jaden Ivey lost his NBA career in a matter of days, and what LeBron James is building on the other side of it. Before any of this spiraled, Jaden Ivey was a 5th overall pick in the 2022 NBA draft. He made the 2022-23 NBA All-Rookie team after averaging 16.3 points, 3.9 rebounds, and 5.2 assists per game, while shooting 41.6% from the field. He posted a career-high 17.6 points per game during the 2024-25 campaign, as the Purdue product looked to be hitting his stride. Then came the 2025-26 season, and Ivey's world changed. Ivey saw a regression in his production this year, primarily playing off the bench for the Pistons before the trade. On February 6, 2026, Ivey was acquired from the Detroit Pistons in a 3-team trade. The Bulls were supposed to be his fresh start. It was not. Ivey appeared in only 4 games for the Bulls and last played February 11th before the All-Star break. The team announced last week that he would be shut down for the season because of a sore left knee. And then something shifted. On February 19th against the Raptors, Ivey did not play because of a coach's decision. The first time in his young career he had been a healthy scratch. After the game that night, he noted that he wasn't the same player as he used to be, referring to his religion while talking to reporters in the locker room. His words that night set the tone for everything that followed. "I'm not the J.I. I used to be. The old J.I. is dead. I'm alive in Christ no matter what the basketball setting is," Ivey said. Ivey was outspoken about his religious beliefs in Detroit, but his intensity ratcheted up during his tenure in Chicago, which agitated some team staff members who described Ivey as preachy around the locker room, sources told ESPN. Then, on March 30, 2026, it all came to a head. The Chicago Bulls waived guard Jaden Ivey for conduct detrimental to the team Monday, hours after he posted a lengthy video rant on social media about religion and other topics that included anti-gay sentiments. In that rant, Ivey called the NBA celebration of Pride Month unrighteousness and went after several aspects of the league's public messaging, from his controversial statement about Catholicism and the anti-LGBTQ comments, to his attempt at calling out fellow NBA players for their flaws. Ivey seems to be spiraling out of control. Ivey was waived by the Bulls after posting rants about religion, including calling Catholicism a false religion, a notable claim given his mother coaches at Notre Dame. The response from the Bulls was swift and decisive. There's a certain level of expectations and standards that are here. Everybody comes with their own personal experiences, right? But we have to all be professional. There has to be a high level of respect for one another, and we've got to help each other and be accountable to those standards, Coach Billy Donovan told reporters. Just like that, a former top 5 pick in the NBA was out of a job. And what happened next made headlines all over the internet. Less than a week after his release, Ivey wasn't calling agents or working out for other teams. He was on a street corner in Chicago with a microphone in his hand. Jaden Ivey, the son of Notre Dame women's basketball head coach Neely Ivey, was spotted preaching on a street corner just days after being waived by the Bulls for conduct detrimental to the team. A viral video clip showing Ivey preaching in Chicago racked up more than 40,000 views. After being posted over the weekend by TikTok user Kedrick Atwater, the footage showed the 6'3" former guard wearing a black shirt, red sweats, and sneakers, pacing as he spoke into a microphone. The internet was deeply divided. While some people supported Ivey for standing up for his faith, praising him for trying to make the world a better place, others expressed concern over his current situation. Comments ranged from admiration to alarm. Some fans saw a principled man standing firm, while others saw a talented young player in freefall. A man who had potentially thrown away a multi-million-dollar career for Instagram live sermons and street corner theology. Ivey himself showed no signs of backing down. He went on Instagram and directly addressed the Bulls' decision. He called Bulls officials liars, adding, "They're lying, saying my conduct is detrimental to the team. That's a lie. Ask any one of them coaches in there. Was I a good teammate? All I'm preaching about is Jesus Christ, and they waived me." Ivey has not backed down from his position that his faith, not his conduct, was the real reason for the Bulls' decision. The NBA said Ivey's remarks online, where he called the NBA's Pride Month unrighteousness, was detrimental to the team. Ivey has maintained that his conduct was not detrimental, setting up a debate on personal beliefs, public speech, and workplace conduct. The fallout didn't stop at the locker room doors. It went straight into his home. Needless to say, this has affected those closely related to Jaden Ivey, including his family. Matters at home seem to have worsened since his wife, Jaden Ivey, stormed out of the room during Ivey's recent Instagram livestream. During that stream, Ivey referenced his wife and her relationship with God, to which Jaden's response was immediate and blunt. "No, please stop." Jaden Ivey wants no part of her husband's controversial online behavior. The broader question was now reverberating throughout the NBA and the sports media landscape. Who gets a second chance in this league, and who doesn't? In late March, Chicago Bulls guard Jaden Ivey quickly became one of the most polarizing names in the NBA this season, after the 24-year-old posted a series of lengthy live streams on Instagram that included anti-LGBTQ statements and comments critical of the NBA's celebration of Pride Month. The Bulls waived Ivey, citing conduct detrimental to the team. Some pointed out that players who have committed far worse offenses, domestic violence, assault, substance abuse, have been given second and third chances in the NBA. So why was Ivey's punishment so absolute and so fast? It is becoming glaringly apparent that the former Bulls guard needs guidance and help, something former NBA player Kendrick Perkins sympathized with and suggested. Before all of this unfolded, Jaden Ivey was a promising young talent in the NBA. Now, not a single franchise has claimed him. The Ivey saga didn't just affect Ivey, it sent shockwaves through the entire Chicago Bulls organization. The Jaden Ivey fallout may have accelerated the Chicago Bulls' decision to fire Arturas Karnisovas and Mark Eversley. 1 week after waiving Ivey, the Bulls fired their top 2 front office executives. The Chicago Bulls fired Arturas Karnisovas and Mark Eversley 1 week after cutting Jaden Ivey, ending a 6-year run that produced 1 playoff appearance and a 224-254 record. The writing had been on the wall for a while. The Ivey situation may have accelerated the timeline, but the underlying case for change had been building for years. In 6 seasons under Karnisovas and Eversley, the Bulls went 224-254. But the way the Ivey situation was handled, acquiring a player in a 3-team trade and then waiving him less than 2 months later, after he had played just 4 games, spoke to a deeper organizational dysfunction. The Ivey situation just landed in the middle of that already chaotic stretch. The guard had played just 4 games for Chicago after being acquired in a February trade, before being shut down with a knee injury, and then waived days later following his social media posts. Bulls CEO Michael Reinsdorf acknowledged the failures plainly. "We have not had the success our fans deserve, and it's my responsibility to go in a new direction." The incoming front office will inherit almost $60 million in projected cap space, a potentially clean draft slate, and a roster built around Josh Giddey, Matas Buzelis, and Noah Esenge. The entire sequence, trade, injury, sermons, waiver, front office firings, played out in roughly 6 weeks. It was one of the most turbulent stretches in recent Bulls history, and it raised profound questions about how an organization evaluates character, handles crises, and decides who is expendable. The Ivey situation was a spark that landed on a pile of gasoline that had been accumulating for half a decade. Now, here's where the story takes its most fascinating turn. While Jaden Ivey was getting cut from the NBA for what he said, LeBron James, the league's all-time leading scorer, its most recognizable active player, and the first active NBA player to become a billionaire, was reportedly building a league designed to challenge the very institution that cast Ivey out. According to ESPN, James's business manager, Maverick Carter, is considering a $5 billion raise to launch an international basketball league. The concept is ambitious and unlike anything basketball has ever seen. ESPN first reported in January that Carter was advising a group of investors seeking $5 billion to launch a rival to the NBA, with a format featuring 6 men's teams and 6 women's teams playing worldwide. At the time, ESPN noted James was not involved. That status may be shifting. Late July reporting indicated James met in France with Carter and Miško Ražnatović, the prominent European agent who represents Nikola Jokic, to discuss the upstart league. The meeting took place on a super yacht in Saint-Tropez. A post from Mishko Rajnatovic showed him meeting with the Los Angeles Lakers star and his longtime business partner Maverick Carter, with the caption, "The summer of 2025 is the perfect time to make big plans for the fall of 2026. The league, now being referred to by some insiders as Project B, is modeled on a revolutionary concept. Rather than establishing another American-centric league, James and Carter envision a touring format featuring 6 men's and 6 women's teams, traveling to 8 global cities. This Formula One-inspired structure could revolutionize professional basketball presentation, creating traveling spectacles that bring elite competition directly to international markets. The financial mechanics are what set this apart from any prior challenger. According to Afrotech, sources say the proposed tour-style competition would travel to 8 cities and offer players equity, something not available in the NBA or WNBA under current rules. The model also uniquely proposes player equity, allowing stars to hold ownership stakes in their teams, inspired by LeBron Golf and marking a distinct departure from the NBA's traditional franchise system. That equity angle is the nuclear weapon. This will unnerve the NBA too, since the league's biggest stars like LeBron and Stephen Curry have been frustrated that they've been exploited at the benefit of their team's owners. With no ability to get an equity stake, the Golden State Warriors were worth $315 million when they drafted Curry. They're now worth over $9 billion. Players have watched franchise values skyrocket while being told they can't own a piece of what they helped build. NBA rules actually block player ownership, protecting owners and the franchise precedent. Business partner Maverick Carter has reportedly secured funding from sources like Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund and others. According to industry sources, the group has attracted heavyweight partners, including Redbird Capital Partners and Fenway Sports Group, organizations already stewarding major properties like Liverpool FC and the Boston Red Sox. Any NBA players would need to opt out of their contracts to take part, which would lead to immense legal implications, particularly as the league targets a launch in the fall of 2026, immediately clashing with the 2026-27 NBA season. This is not an off-season exhibition or a retirement tour. This is a direct calendar collision with the NBA. And here's where LeBron's personal situation becomes incredibly relevant. The story of where LeBron James will play basketball for the 2026-27 season, if he plays at all, began last June 29th, when his longtime agent, Clutch Sports CEO Rich Paul, told ESPN's Shams Charania that James would exercise his player option for 2025-26 with the Los Angeles Lakers. That means this summer, LeBron becomes a free agent. He could go anywhere, or he could go nowhere the NBA expects. Plan A for the Lakers, per competing executives and player agents, appears to be moving on from James to build around the younger star, Luka Doncic. If the Los Angeles Lakers viewed LeBron James as a core support piece for Luka Doncic, they would have extended him this past offseason. The absence of a deal makes it hard to believe James will be back in LA next year. The question now becomes, if LeBron isn't staying in LA, and if the NBA structure doesn't give him what he wants, ownership, equity, real control over his financial legacy, does this new league offer him the final chapter he's been looking for? The obvious comparison to the league LeBron and Carter are building is LeBron Golf. The exclusivity is to maintain the league's competitive integrity and brand appeal, while also immediately establishing and legitimizing itself as a genuine product, as LeBron Golf did when it secured names such as Phil Mickelson, Bryson DeChambeau, Dustin Johnson, and Brooks Koepka in the summer of 2022. The playbook is simple: offer more money, offer equity, offer freedom, and has enticed many big names to leave the incumbent PGA Tour. The lure: huge paychecks for bigger names and potential equity in the teams they play for. And this isn't just theoretical anymore. The league has already started signing talent. The league has already signed big-name WNBA players like Alyssa Thomas, Jonquel Jones, and Nneka Ogwumike to huge contracts and equity stakes, which shows they have a lot of money behind them. Grady Burnett, one of the founders of Project B, explained the plan, saying that the league's goals are to extend the careers of established players and develop the best young talent in the world. The league plans to barnstorm 7 cities in Asia, Europe, and South America, and games will be streamed live on YouTube. But skeptics have reason to doubt. A $5 billion enterprise sounds big, but it would be competing with a league that just signed $76 billion in TV rights deals if it goes after any NBA stars. The NBA has not faced a significant rival 5-on-5 league since the 1970s, when it merged with the short-lived American Basketball Association and absorbed 4 of its teams: the Pacers, Nets, Nuggets, and Spurs. There's also the matter of Carter reportedly shifting his attention. While the project had backing from PIF, the Saudi Arabian sovereign fund, Carter and James appear to be out. Carter is now focusing his attention on a women's basketball league that would rival the WNBA, per the report. However, that report was from October 2025, and by March 2026, the Project B brand was back in the headlines, with signed players and a clearer roadmap, suggesting the original NBA rival vision never fully died. The NBA has taken notice. The NBA's process may have been accelerated by the rumors of competition from James and his group. The league has been fast-tracking its own European expansion plans, holding meetings with FIBA and UK officials, trying to lock down the global market before a competitor can claim it. Now, here's the connection that ties the 2 biggest basketball stories of 2026 together. Jaden Ivey was waived by the NBA, instantly, publicly, and without a single team picking him up afterward for what he said on Instagram. Whether you agree with what he said or not, the speed of that response sent a very specific message to every player in the league. Step out of line, and you're gone. And LeBron James, who has spent 23 years inside this system, who has watched the league profit billions off his name and likeness, who has seen owners block players from equity while franchise values multiplied 30-fold, LeBron is building something where he writes the rules. As a result, James is the first active NBA player to become a billionaire, and his wealth could help fund a new league. He doesn't need the NBA. The NBA, arguably, still needs him. At 41, James is already the league's oldest player, and has passed Vince Carter for the most seasons played, eclipsed Robert Parrish for the most games played, and long ago put Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in the rearview for the most points scored in NBA history. His legacy is cemented. His bank account is full. His business empire is vast. The question is no longer whether LeBron can compete with the NBA. The question is whether the NBA can survive in a world where its greatest player decides the system itself is broken and builds an alternative from scratch. As for Jaden Ivey, his career is in limbo. Since being waived by the Chicago Bulls, Jaden Ivey has gained a degree of infamy on social media, which has done considerable damage to his reputation and image. No team has signed him. No front office has expressed public interest. Whether he returns to the NBA, joins an international league, or continues preaching on street corners in Chicago is anyone's guess. But one thing is certain: the events of March and April 2026 exposed a fundamental tension at the heart of professional basketball. The players generate the product. The owners pocket the profits. The league decides what you can and cannot say. And for the first time in 50 years, someone with enough power, money, and influence to actually do something about it is building an alternative. Whether Project B launches in fall 2026 as planned, or whether it takes another form entirely, the mere existence of the concept has already changed the conversation. Players now know there might be somewhere else to go, and the NBA knows it too.